Welcome to Allies or Enemies. I'm Jess.
And I am Shawn, and this is our top 10 games of 2019.
We did our top 10 games of 2021, and then we looked back at the top 10 games of 2020, and we thought we would just keep it up and look at our top games of 2019.
Yeah, why stop there? We're just going to keep on going back like board game time travelers. There's a lot of games that we really like from this year.
Yeah, and it was really tough to do this list because like our other ones, we both ranked them separately, and then we are presenting our combined top 10. But I think this is the one so far we've had the most differences in.
We each had a couple that weren't even close. We had like 19 places between some of these games, and those are games we still both like.
Yeah, exactly. So on that note, we'll start with our honorable mention. So these are ones that one liked a lot more than the other and didn't quite make the cut. Do you want to start?
So mine, and this one was in my top 10, but didn't make Jess's, and this is Paladins of the West Kingdom. And this is, I go back and forth in the West Kingdom series, which one is my favorite. And right now, this one is probably my favorite. It's the heaviest, it's the thinkiest. I'm really excited to get the expansion, which I know has been out for a bit, but we're a bit behind, and we're looking forward to getting it soon. But it's just a great game, and it is that like kind of solitaire, but I like that. I like just sitting and thinking and doing my own little puzzle, and this does it really well.
And my honorable mention is a very popular game. I really, really like this game. This is one of my favorites, actually. And it is Wingspan. I have a zoology background. I love animals, so I really like the bird theme. I love the production quality with the player mats. It all looks really good. I love the mechanics of it. I really like games that have shared competing goals as well as secret goals. So I really enjoy everything about this game. And it was really high for me. And it is my honorable mention.
And don't get mad at me. I like it. I'm just not big on birds. So it's just lower for me, but I like it a lot. No one yell at me. All right, and so let's get into the nitty-gritty of our real top 10. And so starting out with, we actually have a tie for number 10, which we were happy about because we both got an extra game in the list. So the first number 10 is Imperial Settlers Empires of the North. And this is a game that we like, I think, more all the time. Like when we got it, it was, even when we did our top 100, I think both of us said this would be higher if we did it again. And it's just gone up and up. And every time we get an expansion, we like having more to choose from. And we just find more depth in this game. It's just a terrific kind of very asymmetric engine builder / card tableau. There's a lot of kind of worker placement.
Yeah, and the cuteness of it, I think, threw me at first because there is a lot of depth to this that you wouldn't expect from the kind of silly little art style that I love. I love the art style to it. But the simple decisions of even just those 5 spots that you can put your thing out to do your actions, all of that makes a really big difference in it. And the more expansions we get, the more we like this game to see how differently each of the packs play.
Yeah, there's just really hidden depth here. And yeah. Great game. So, Empires of the North.
Our other number 10, because it was a tie for 10, is Cartographers. We love roll and writes, and this is one of my favorite ones because you flip your cards and then you choose what type of lands you want to draw in your kingdom. And you each have your own sheets, and you're just trying to accomplish various goals across the seasons. But it's great. We got pencil crayons, and we do fun little trees and houses, and so it ends up looking really great at the end. And this is always going to be one of my favorite roll and writes.
I think almost every game that we play takes less time to play the more we play it. This is the only one that takes more time, and it's only because we get more and more into the drawing all the time. With the pencil crayons, I've got very elaborate towns now, and it's really fun. It's like being a kid and just coloring in your coloring book. Plus, it really is an excellent game and just a good like polynomial / roll and write. 2 of my favorite things mushed together, and it's super fun.
That is true. We started with just simple colors, and we have gone far beyond that now. So that was our second number 10.
Our number 9 is Maracaibo, and this is an Alexander Pfister game. And if you are familiar with Alexander Pfister, you are familiar with most of the things in this game. He likes to use a lot of the same mechanisms, and so he's got multi-use cards in this. There's a rondelle system, and there's a lot of really creative stuff in this as well. There's this kind of, at first you think it's going to be like a war system, but it's not really. You're like just kind of supporting all the different armies, but like separately. It's an interesting mechanism. And then there's also like an adventure board at the bottom. And I think when you first look at it, it's like hard to figure out how would all of these things work together, but they work together so well, and it's so smooth for how much is kind of like smushed in there.
It really does. All the icons are really clear, so all of that helps you be able to pick it up and go with it really quickly. And then it also introduces a campaign mode, and the story
is the worst.
It is not good. But the neat thing about it is it took us a number of games to play through, and every single game the board just looked a little bit different, which was neat because it changes your choices of where to stop and what you're going to do a little bit.
Yeah, the story is every second card is a previously on. So it's like 8 sentences, and then like previously in those 8 sentences. It's ridiculous. You'll quickly find yourself ignoring the story, I think, but it does add the interesting things. And the rondelle is really cool because it really allows you to push each other through, because I want to visit every single island, and Jess wants to race her way to the end as fast as possible.
I just want to stop you from getting all of the points. If you visit everywhere, you're going to get so many points. So sometimes I see that and I think, well, I won't let you do it all. I'm gonna race to the end and make you come along.
But yeah, great. We love Alexander Pfister. This is one of our favorite Pfister games, and that is our number 9, Maracaibo.
Our number 8 is Parks. Parks is a gorgeous game. It's based off the artwork of the 59 Parks series, and so all of the cards are beautiful renditions of the national parks across the United States. And a lot of these kind of remind me of home. We're from Canada and the Rocky Mountains, and all of that has that kind of look to it. And so the look of this is great, and the components look great. And you are hikers, and you have to go down a one-way street, or a ratchet system, I recently learned is how some people describe that you can't turn back, you can only move forward. And then you take the action on those spaces and you collect your resources and trade them in for these park cards.
Yeah, it's a simple game. It's a great kind of gateway game. Really light game. I actually like this one more than Jess does. This was higher on my list. It's just relaxing, and it is a little mean because it's, again, like our last game, you are pushing the other people, because once one person gets to the end, the other person has to go to the end.
And you can definitely block spaces because somebody can't be on the same space as you unless they use their campfire. And so you can just put someone there right away and keep them there basically the whole time and not take them till the end. And we have a lot of battling over the camera and the ability to take pictures. So we are constantly trading it in, which is a fun little mechanic too. And this was our number 8.
Our number 7 is the Isle of Cats, or the only way we ever say it, I love cats. And Isle of Cats is it's a polyomino game that is a little bit heavier than most of them. So you're putting down your shapes, and you've got cats. You're putting them on a boat. It's got this ridiculous story where this guy Vash is coming to this island to kill all the cats because he's horrible. And so you got to get all the cats off the island. But of course, cats being cats do not want to cooperate. So you just have to get like the cats you can by putting them in baskets and forcing them onto your ship, where they immediately like sprawl out. And so you got to fit them in shapes, and you got to fit them in kind of color groups. And then it's got this really cool scoring mechanic where you've got these cards called lessons. I don't know why. And I don't know why they're called lessons. I mean, and they're public or private lessons. And the lessons are little goal cards that you have to, for like, you need this many of this color cats, or you need cats in this part of the ship, or whatever it might be. And so you've got this scoring mechanism that's, you're adding new scoring cards every single round. So you're constantly kind of changing that. It's kind of evolving, which is really interesting addition to the mechanic.
Because those cards are also part of your decision for how many cards to keep, for how many baskets you might need. And you've got also the fish that attract the cats. And so the more cards you keep, the less fish you have for your cats. And so you really have to decide if it's worth that card for the points or worth getting the baskets to catch more. And you can never fill your ship. So you really do have to make some tough decisions. And only a few cats are out at a time. And you can see which ones you might need and what colors might be beneficial for your boat.
Yeah, I didn't explain it's also a card drafting and a cat drafting game. But this is maybe one of the heavier tile placement, not the heaviest, but one of the heavier tile placement games that we have, and a terrific one. And look how nice this looks. This is a beautiful box.
Yeah.
So that is our number 7.
Our number 6 is Res Arcana. And in Res Arcana, it's by Tom Lehman. You start off with having 1 asymmetric power, small little differences, but it does make a difference for how you play. And then you have 8 cards. And that's it. You use those 8 cards to collect your resources, and you trade in those resources for different locations that are available each time and different monuments, and just try to maximize your turn using only those 8 cards. And we liked this the first time we played it, but every single time we play it, it goes higher and higher on our list.
Yeah, and it's helped too that we've picked up both expansions since, and I think both expansions add a little bit to it. But its beauty is its simplicity. That, like you said, like you've got those 8 cards plus your mage character with its power on it, and that's it. And then it's just, how do I put that together? And oftentimes the thing that puts you over to that 10 points is just taking the first player token, because if you pass first, you get the first player token, which gives you a point. And getting to 9 and then just making that decision of, if I pass now, I can't do anything else. Can they squeeze by me and get to 11 on this turn?
Because we've had games like that where somebody's like, I've got 10, they're only at 8, I've got this. And then the other person with the rest of their turn has managed to surpass that and get to 11. And the turns are really quick, because each turn you can only do one thing. That's it. And then it's the next player's turn. And so again, you're competing for these locations sometimes. You can see someone getting the same kind of resources as you are. So trying to jump in there first can be a whole another strategy as well.
Yeah, great game.
Yep. Our number 6, Res Arcana.
Our number 5 is Draftosaurus, or Draftosaurus if you want to say it correctly. And Draftosaurus, this one's higher on my list than Jess's, because I love it. This is the lightest game on this list, and I don't care. I'm such a fan of this game. It's so simple. It's exactly what it says. You're drafting dinosaurs. So you got a bag of dinosaurs. Every turn you take a dinosaur, you put it on your player board, and you've got different parts of your board that score different kinds of points for different dinosaurs. So you're just taking that dinosaur, you're putting it somewhere on your board. And there's a dice that one player rolls each turn that gives you a little bit of parameters of where you're allowed to put it. But other than that, it's really just taking a dinosaur, putting it on the board, and it feels like a roll and write, but like a roll and write with the addition of having those actual dinosaurs that are, fun to reach in and grab and put down and look great.
Yeah, the meeple dinosaurs are great. And this is another one that also works really well at 2, because I think most people tend to play it at more, and it works great at more. But at 2, there's such a kind of fun element of keeping an eye on your opponent and seeing what they need, and purposely just throwing what they need in the box. Because at 2 player, you put one in your park and one like away for the rest of the game. And so there is certainly that kind of, you're not going to get this one.
Yeah, I don't know another drafting game. I guess we just said Isle of Cats, but I don't know another just strict, like that's all it is drafting game that works this well at just 2 players. Because that throwing away mechanic is so good. It feels so mean sometimes when it's like, I need a T-Rex, and I see her just like happily like look at me smiling and chuck it. It's really fun, and yeah, the dinosaurs are great, and you can play this one with anyone. This is a game you can teach to like your non-gamer friends in like 3 minutes, and have up and rolling, and they'll love it. So that was our number 5.
Our number 4 is this one here. Blank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated. And so we spent forever trying to find a really great legacy game after we finished Gloomhaven, because we loved that experience and we were just on the lookout for a campaign or a legacy that the two of us could play. And we heard mixed things about how well this would work with 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
But we decided to give it a go. And we loved it. It was super fun. It was a great legacy in terms of what you got to find out and the story. And the narrative was actually great. It was well written. It was a little bit funny. It had like some jokes about middle management that was directing your movements as you're trying to go around and steal some things. And one of the things I loved about it is because there's certain goals that as a team you're trying to accomplish, it was a little bit semi-co-op of I won't run out of the dungeon and leave you high and dry if you're going to go complete this quest. But then as soon as you complete that quest, then it's each person for themselves.
Yeah, it's co-op until it isn't, which was fun. It was like a negotiation kind of co-op of like, come on, we really need this, and I'll give you one more turn before I sprint back, or like that sort of thing. And you're right, like the writing, I'm very critical of writing in board games. And this, it's short and snappy and often legitimately funny, which is so rare in a board game. And Acquisitions Incorporated, we didn't know anything about it. I guess it's like a D&D podcast / YouTube thing. WWE wrestler Xavier Woods is a part of it, I guess. And we do like the New Day. So but we weren't drawn in by that part, but it ended up, even though we knew nothing about it, I feel like adding to the experience, even like just the world of it going in cold, was still interesting and fun and funny. And this is the only legacy game that we have played where we legitimately play it after the game. Like people always say that, like, oh yeah, still got a game, but it doesn't. This one this is probably my favorite Clank game.
Yeah, it does play terrifically at the end, and the nice thing too is that there's little bits that remind you of when you played through it as a legacy as well, which is quite nice. And so this is our number 4.
Number 3 is Horrified, and we love Horrified. This was like the second video we made on this channel. This is actually one of the games that we were like, we need to tell more people about this game. We love this game. And we got so into this because when we first got it, I was a big fan of the Universal Studios Monsters movies, like the old ones. And Jess hadn't seen a lot of them, so it gave me a chance to rewatch them, and it gave Jess a chance to watch them. That was super fun.
Yeah, we went through, watched all the old movies, which was great, and then played through the game as well. And I love co-ops, and this is really light. This is definitely something that you could play with new gamers for sure. But it just works great. And there are 6 different monsters. Mm-hmm. And so you pull out different amounts depending on how hard you want it to be. And so we usually do about 3 monsters, which can sometimes still be a challenge to do. And all the monsters, you have to get rid of them in different ways. So it always feels new. And for an extra challenge, you can bring out a 4th monster.
It is hard at 4 monsters. Like this is, like we say, it's a beginner game. And at 2 monsters, it really is. It's a pretty simple game. You're probably going to win it. But at 4 monsters, it's tough. And depending on who those monsters are, it's really tough. And it's just the little bits that they've got. Like they've got Abbott and Costello in the game. They've got all of the villagers from the different movies. And then it's a solid, like, well-made, simple game.
Yeah, I just love it, and I think we're a really good team when we play, so that's another reason why I really like it. And we're excited to try the American Monsters. We haven't tried that one yet.
It's not out here in the UK, and America, we're interested in your monsters. Please send us your monsters. We want to know about them. We will buy the game. But that is our number 3, Horrified.
All right, our number 2 is Tapestry. So Tapestry is by Jamie Stegmaier, so it's by Stonemaier Games. It has a beautiful production. It's a civilization game that's very, very asymmetric. So each of you has a starting civilization, and they all have various bonuses. And you go through the different tracks, and you manage your resources, trade them in, to put buildings out on your little player boards and all kinds of different actions that you can do. This is one that I would describe as a lot of multiplayer solitaire. It's very heads down, trying to work out the best combinations that you can do. There is interaction in terms of who can get to certain buildings first and get the opportunity to put those out for sure. But one of the things we love about this is we love the asymmetry. So we have this like huge sheet that we
almost like Excel spreadsheet of tapestry civilizations
of which ones we were and who we were playing against and what our scores were, because we do find it's a little bit unbalanced sometimes, but that doesn't really bother us, because if Shawn beats me by like 100 points, then later on down the line we'll switch civilizations and I'll see if I'll beat him by 100 points when we're the opposite ones as well. And so we looked at the number of games we've played of this, and of our like decently weighted games, this is one of the ones we've played the most. And that's just because we each want to try all of the civilizations once and then again, and we still haven't, like, even when we played it twice through, that's tons of games.
And it's really pretty. I know some people don't love the buildings, but I love the buildings. I think they look great. I think they look great on the board. And I think this one probably plays best at 2 again, just because you can have some long turns. And
someone can actually finish the game before another player. So with more players, you might be kind of left out not playing for longer.
Yeah.
So it does work really well at 2. And I think this game would go way up in my top 100 thanks to the arts and architecture expansion, because I really like the maps that got included in that, as well as the 5th track. There was a lot of great elements that got us playing this even more, and it just made us excited to keep playing it and trying everything new about it. And so that was our number 2.
Our number 1, and this one wasn't on either of our top 100 lists because we bought it just before Christmas and already have played it something like 40 times. And well, I'll bring it out. Our number 1 is Marvel Champions. And Marvel Champions, a few folks that actually texted me in the comments or messaged me in the comments over the time we've been doing this channel of like, why don't you do Marvel Champions? How about Marvel Champions? And I've always answered, I don't want to do it because I'm scared that as soon as I buy the base, I will buy every single expansion. And I was right. We got this within a month. We had everything, and I just keep on buying everything. But to our credit, we have played with, I think, pretty much all of it. We've played with all of the characters. We've played through the Red Skull campaign. We're just going to start the Guardians campaign. And we just can't get enough of this game.
And I love it because it's cooperative, so we get to be on a team together trying to fight the bad guys. And it's pretty hefty, too. Like, it's not a lightweight game. It takes us about an hour each time we play. And there's a lot you have to think about in terms of how quickly you go through your cards and everything that gets thrown at you. And all of the characters that you get to be play so differently. And in particular, play differently against each of the different bad guys as well. So there's just so many combinations. And that asymmetry keeps bringing us back again. And it's really interesting to try and see what heroes play well together, because some of them really work well together and some of them do not, which we learn pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it works terrific at 2 players. I think it probably shines at 2 players. And you are invested in the other person's turn as well. And you can give them cards and you can help them out. But even if you're not actively like giving them cards, you're invested because you have such a shared goal. And you know, the turns can go a little long, but it's usually fairly quick. And the characters, they just play so different. And I love the universe. I love comic books. I wish they would do an X-Men one. That would be like my dream if I had an X-Men Champions game. I'm sure it's coming. I'm really excited for the Spider-Man stuff that's coming out. They got Miles Morales, who I'm a huge fan of in the next set, in Sinister Six. So it's just the gift that keeps giving, or the gift that keeps spending all of our money. But this is it's a heck of a game, and it's worth it.
And the new characters are really, really fun to try because they do an amazing job for just like the deck of cards and the one character that flips sides of being very different.
Yeah. Every time it's super different experience. So that is our number 1. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching this. It was really fun actually to revisit. And I think as soon as our brains realized, like, hey, we can just do other years, we don't need to be in the year, it really opened it up. And so I would not be surprised to see a few more of these.
Yeah, exactly. And we weren't able to put all of the games of 2019 that we love. So if there are any particular ones that you love from 2019, do post those in the comments. We would love to see what you play. Please like, subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you for the next one.